There are a few DMs online who will complain about their players rolling natural 20s or natural 1s, but then being either upset with the outcome because of the natural 1 or derailing your session because of the natural 20. And I think the problem lies with your players' expectations about what happens when they roll a natural 20 and a natural 1. So I want to talk about that. You can find talks and stories about the natural 20 all over the internet. There are fantastic stories from players online about how when their character was in an impossible situation or down in the dumps or just some high stakes kind of scenario, and they rolled that natural 20 and everything just went perfectly their way and it was awesome and everyone had a great time. And I'm not bashing those stories. I think they're fantastic. They're fun to read and laugh about, and I genuinely enjoy them. But a lot of DMs seem to complain about these stories because the DM was behind the screen watching this unfold, not knowing how to handle it. So here's what I think DMs should start doing. As a DM, you are the one setting the rules and boundaries of your game. You are the one in control of everything. So you need to manage your players' expectations when it comes to rolling a natural 20 and natural 1s. The rules for natural 20s and natural 1s in my game by no means have to go across the board and be what everybody does in their game. But what I do is a natural 20 gives the character who rolled it the best possible outcome for their situation. By making it the best possible outcome, there is no longer chances for outrageous, incredible, ridiculous shit to happen. Now, as a player, you might be sitting there going, well, you sound like a boring DM. I want amazing opportunities to happen. I want to be able to seduce the dragon as a bard if I rolled the natural 20 on my charisma check. And if that's the kind of player you want to be, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of funny stories about that and a lot of DMs who will definitely accompany you. However, me as a DM, if you are a bard in my game, and you roll to seduce a dragon, and you roll a natural 20 on your charisma check, you will get the best possible outcome from my game. The best possible outcome from my game, depending on the dragon you're talking to, is maybe you don't get burned alive. Maybe you simply get off with some minor scorch marks, but you will still be attacked, especially if it's a chromatic dragon. Now this may seem weird, but I differ on natural 1s from what I say on natural 20s. Natural 20s for me give the character the best possible outcome in the situation, but a natural 1 will not give a character the worst possible outcome in the situation. Because yes, rolling a natural 1 sucks, and it should feel bad. However, the player should not feel like shit, and the player should not be so upset as to not want to play anymore. You, the DM, are there to provide a fun, entertaining experience for the players at your table. If they roll a natural 1, do not give them the worst possible outcome. Do not make their weapon break. Do not kill their character completely off, depending on the situation. Do not do these kinds of things. Give them a bad outcome, of course. That's what happens when you roll a natural 1. But do not make it so painfully bad that the character cannot continue because the player doesn't even want to play anymore. As example, I've seen a lot of natural 1 charts where if your character rolls a natural 1, you now have to roll on a natural 1 fumble table. And there are things on this table like your weapon snapping, or you losing all abilities to cast magic, or your character just straight up dying and turning to dust. These are terrible. I don't see how these could be fun for a player at all. If you have a player who's really invested in your story, loves playing their character, and they're just having a couple of fights with some hobgoblins and whatnot, and they happen to roll a natural 1 on attacking a hobgoblin, and you break their weapon or lob off one of their legs, that player is not going to play their character anymore because they were fighting hobgoblins and lost a leg or their weapon or just straight up died and turned to dust. This is why I say you have to manage your players' expectations as a DM. If a player rolls a natural 20, depending on the situation that they are in, I give them the best possible outcome for the situation that they are in based on everything else around them. Now, the best possible outcome might not be the outcome that your player wants. Hell, it probably won't be the outcome that your player wants, depending on how high of an expectation they have for natural 20s. But the same cannot be said for natural 1s. This is why at my table, when a player rolls a natural 20, depending on the situation and everything around them, they will get the best possible scenario for that natural 20. Now, this is probably not what your character wants to happen if their expectations for natural 20s are this high, but that is how it is done at my table. You will get the best possible outcome, depending on the situation you're in. It's not the most likely outcome. It's not the most amazing outcome. It is the most possible outcome. And if that character rolls a natural 1, they will get a bad outcome, but it will not be game ending or character ending or enough to make my player not want to play in the game anymore. That's not fair. 5% chance for your player to get up and leave your game is not a game I want to play in. And I don't think it's a game most characters would want to play in. And as a final note, I truly believe that if a character is in a situation where even if they were to roll a natural 20, their ability score modifiers could not even meet the DC that you're coming up with in your head, don't make them roll for it. Because even if they do get that natural 20, now you are expected to give them the result of getting the highest number possible. But if there was no way for them to achieve that result, even if they got a natural 20, don't make them roll for it. But that's a different video for a different time. So if you'd like to see that video in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when that video comes up. And if you want to talk about more fantasy or D&D related stuff, I'm live usually 2 to 3 times a week on Twitch. You can check my link out here. But that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, tell your friends. If you didn't, you tell me. Have yourself a good one, everybody. Skål.